What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mamaverse Podcast, where we bring experts in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual wellness to talk about how moms can improve their overall health in their daily life. I'm your host, Tuhian Lee, and our guest today is Adriana Correa. Adriana is a spiritual coach focusing on empowering femme through self-discovery. She guides people to go within and remember who they are through human design, chakra alignment, and self-care. Welcome, Adriana, to the Mamaverse Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be sharing this with you. It is a beautiful space that you're created, so I'm honored.
Oh, thank you. I am so excited to chat with you because I know every time I do chat with you is always so fun and I'm like learning so much. So, Adriana, would you like to just tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, well, that was a beautiful introduction that you just prepared for me. Like you said, I am an empowerment coach. I really focus on femme empowerment because I want us all to find that voice within. But first, we need to find out and rediscover the strength within us, rediscovering the power, the light, so we can bring it out and bring all of our gifts into the world.
So, Adriana, I want to know, were you always tuned into your spirituality and into spirituality, or is this something that you stumbled upon later, or how did that journey begin?
That journey began way later in life. I mean, I am lucky to cut it when I did. It was right after my divorce. I found myself in a very dark circle in my life and just grasping as to what to do next. And it came in the form of meditation. It came in the form of changing my diet to a more plant forward base, like vegan at the time. And it came in the form of just sitting with myself and tracking the moon. Like that's how it started. And during the last 7 years, because it was around 2015, I just been uncovering tools, uncovering systems that spoke to me, that helped me realize the rhythms within my body and helped me connect not only within, but also with the universe, with Mother Earth, with everything around us.
Okay. You just said a lot of stuff there that I want to unpack. Okay. So you said you started off first with meditation, and then from there you just kind of slowly discovered more tools. And then you mentioned the moon. And this is something that I've heard a lot as well, but I don't really know much about. Can you just shed some more of like insight on what you mean by like tracking with the moon?
Yeah, so it's so funny because we were never really taught to look outside in the evening, but the moon has 4 faces, and every face has a new energy within. And during my time of discovery, I came across Dr. Easy Spencer, Lunar Abundance, and so she creates a way to track the 8 faces of the moon. She breaks it down every couple of days. It's a way to tune in, and it's through journaling, it's through sitting in silence, it's through going outside when it's not too cold or too hot and just looking at this beautiful luminescent being and quieting the mind so we can hear the message. That's how I started. So meditation, moon tracking, astrology, and then it just went on from there with Reiki, energy healing, and then now with human design.
Okay, you just said even more things I wanted to, so with all these tools that you're discovering, they are somehow connected to get to the ultimate goal of being what is it, to like become more in tune with yourself, or like to clear energy? Like what's the, like, you're using these different tools to get to where?
Well, the journey started as a self-healing process. I wanted to offer myself the best available environment and tools to heal myself. And then that later translated into helping others find the same journey. It doesn't have to look like mine. Everybody's journey is very different, but at least to let them know, hey, there's this thing that you can check in. You can check moon tracking, you can check human design, you can check chakras, as opposed to just going out there, especially with the internet nowadays and social media, it can be so overwhelming and paralyzing as to where to go next. So that's where I come in as a guide, because that's what I discovered through human design. I am a guide and I can show you, all right, here's where you can look next. Here's how you can hear your inner guidance and take you to the next step.
So where does one start? Like somebody like me who's aware of spirituality and like believe in it, but I'm not as knowledgeable in all of the different aspects. Like where would somebody or some of our listeners who may not know as much, like where should they start?
I always like to bring it back to the self, because the wisdom and the answers are all within you. You just gotta quiet the mind. We tend to live in our heads so much, so we want to bring it up back into our body. And I share it through my newsletter and my Instagram and during my client sessions. That is just taking 15 minutes of your day to sit with yourself and listen to whatever may come up, or write down whatever may come up. And maybe you don't want to write down one night because you're too tired, but at least you're sitting with yourself and you're like paying attention.
Like reflecting on the day.
Yeah. Reflecting on the day. Could be in the morning, what kind of energy you want to bring in, what kind of creative projects you want to come in, but at least giving yourself that space where you come first.
I love that, because that's what, that's what the whole Mamaverse is about, is self-care, and for giving yourself permission to choose you and to tune in with yourself and your needs too. So then you mentioned that there's different phases of the moon that you can track. There's different energies. So learning more about the phases of the moon and how it can impact like your daily life, basically how you're feeling.
Correct. Okay. Because it makes more sense to understand what's like as within, so without, we say. So what's happening in the cosmos tends to affect us, and it doesn't really like manipulate us in the sense, but it's just open us to the awareness of there's some energies that we being women, we being in tune, because we also have our own cycle and rhythm. It's worth investigating. It's worth sitting with and just taking in that knowledge, taking it all in.
Yeah. Okay.
The greatness of being women. That's what I call it.
Yes. I love it. Okay. And then you mentioned chakra alignment. Can you tell us more about that? Because I am not so very knowledgeable in that either.
That's totally okay. So that comes from the Ayurveda teachings from India and that part of the world. And it's believed that the human has about 21 energy centers, but the one closest to the physical body are 7. And they rule different areas of your life. They rule different parts of your body. They rule different emotions or sensations. So when there's a disbalance, we don't want to call it sickness or disease. When there's a disbalance, it affects you in a particular way. So starting with the root, that's the one that is the money maker. That's the one that makes you feel secure within your body and outside your environment. So I know that when there's something coming in one of my clients, money related, we need to work in that chakra. And so I walk them through the process of activating the energy of that chakra through different exercises, through color coordination, through breathing. And just so like the root, there's another 6 that we go forward, and we just go in with knowledge first, because I like to bring awareness. I like people to know what they're experiencing, so the next time when I'm not around or when they're by themselves, they can pick it up themselves and be like, oh, this feeling is coming up and it's related to this chakra. And what can I do? I have my toolbox of self-care, and I can either eat this fruit or drink this tea or do this exercise to regulate the energy. And so we're no longer waiting for some external force to come and save us. We have the tools within us.
Hence the empowerment.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. Okay. So you're saying that if somebody is feeling stressed about work, is that something that can be like addressed via the chakras? Yes,
very much so. Because first we got to know exactly where the stress is coming from, because it may not be work. It may be the hours that the person is working. It may be the lack of time that they have for themselves. It may be lack of sleep. It may be a particular project that they're going through. And if they don't accomplish their project, they may make it mean something about themselves. And so the body takes it, I'm stressed because of work. It's like, no, you're stressed because you're feeling inadequate, or you're feeling like you cannot do this. And then with the chakra, that's where the human design comes on. And that's what I learned earlier last year. And it was just yet another tool, a blueprint for me to live my life, to be aware of my fears, to be aware of where the pitfalls are so I can master them. And every time a cycle comes and I'm like, oh, I know this has come back in the past and I know how to move forward.
So really makes you reflect, not you, just like everybody, makes everybody reflect on their life and how like everything is a opportunity for learning and discovering more about yourself, like all situations. For example, if you're just stressed at work because you have a project, like, is it really the work that you're stressed about, or is it something deeper? And it gives you the opportunity to like look within and like really get in tune with yourself and connect with yourself. Again, the empowerment. And I really truly feel like that is empowering to know like, oh, it's not the work, it's me that I'm like misaligned, and I'm gonna try to figure it out so that I bring my power back to myself and not let situations throw me off and make me feel away, because that situation's not really, it's something in me basically, right?
Correct. It's like the trigger of a trigger, I call it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about human design.
All right.
So fascinating.
Yes.
I think when we first met, you're like, oh, you want to send me like, what is it? Your birth date and time.
A place.
And place, right? I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is going to mean. Okay. So let's talk about human design. Like, from the beginning, for really, like, what exactly is human design, and how do we use it and all that?
So this is a system that came about in 1987, the year that I was born. And it was Rara, who, through a series of transmissions and through a diet, he was able to get all these messages and compile a system that includes 4 different systems. So we work with astrology, we work with the chakra system, the I Ching, and the Kabbalah. And it gives you a more accurate blueprint of who you are, your personality, and your purpose in life than maybe say astrology. So the birth chart can get you there. It was a picture of where the sky or the stars were when you were born. But with this human design, you have other things that you can learn as awareness of fears, what kind of job you're being more inclined to, or business you can be more successful in, what are the lessons that you can hear to master, so you don't hear around yourself in the head just going through the same scenarios, not knowing that it is a lesson for you to learn. So it's like a whole other thing, girl. I love it.
Wait a minute, I literally just had like a mind blown moment. So you're saying that because astrology is included, you could see how stars and moons are aligned, and because the universe has its own energy, and you're born in a period of a certain kind of energy, that energy is like transferred to us almost, right? Because we're connected. We are, correct. We are connected with the universe, right? So
we're an expression of the universe. We are the universe.
Okay.
Yes, girl.
That is another like mic drop moment. Okay. So because you're in human design, you're taking into account that.
And it's pretty much just letting you know what expression of the universe are you in this incarnation. I believe in life reincarnation. So we go about talking about manifestation, and I want to manifest this and I want to manifest that. And I felt on that for a while as well. Like I wanted to control my life. I wanted to make sure to do the things that I wanted. But through human design, I realized that wasn't my role. My role is to guide. Other people can have the great ideas and get the start rolling. Other people can put in the work and make it happen. Other people can manage it. I come here to guide those people and say, hey, it's not this way. This is it's going to be a little harder this way. Let's go this other way. We call ourselves, I'm a projector, like the birds that go flying over the forest. And we can tell the lions and the zebra and the horses, hey, this is how to best move about.
Yeah. Okay. You just touched on something else. I know everything you're saying is like, there's so much, and I want to like get through so much of it. So you said that you've realized through human design, like what your role is in your life and as a guide. So like what other roles are there that exist?
So we have the actual manifestators. So the manifestors are the ones that get the idea rolling.
Mm-hmm.
We have the generators, which are the ones that came here, and they have such a beautiful power. They connect with the power of the universe and of the earth, and through that sacral chakra, they just work, and they're in an alignment. They're like unstoppable. And you have a manifestor generator, which is a subcategory. You have both things coming together, and they're the ones that can move to things. Like they don't need to master all of the steps in one process. They just get it right away. And then we have the projectors like myself. I'm an investigator. I love to learn new things. Hence, I love to teach them as well, because it makes me a sense of like, oh, I got this. I can teach other people. And then we have the reflectors, which is you, my friend, beautiful, energetical unicorns. There's so like, I think 1% of the population are reflectors. And you guys are like that dodging ball that, are we getting too hot where this is not comfortable, or are we in a good space in this project? And do we have the go ahead? You guys are the ones that are the feelers of energy.
Can you imagine if people knew this about them, that they could avoid going into relationships, just like friendships and jobs that are like demanding one type of personality and energy system when you're really more something else? And I actually think it's probably a big cause for burnout and stress and burnout, I would imagine, right?
Definitely. In my own story, I migrated from Colombia 20 plus years ago. And as an immigrant family, we're taught that we have to make it work here, and we have to work long hours, 12, 15 hours a day. And that's just the norm. And we pride ourselves for being able to work so much. Well, coming into human design and the knowledge that I'm a projector, as a projector, we're only supposed to work 4 to 5 hours a day. So talk about burnout. I was working 3 times more than I'm supposed to, because my role here, it's not only to guide, but to be efficient, to find systems. And in those systems is where I can get more work done in less hours. So it was a complete shift. It was a lot of conditioning that I had to go through phase and say, hey, this doesn't serve me anymore. My family was here. They have they are energy types where they can work as long as they want to when it's something that they're aligned and they feel excited about. But that's not my role. And detaching my self-worth, detaching the conditioning that it doesn't make me less because I cannot work 12 hours. That was huge for me.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, my family is like an immigrant family too. It's like you work hard, and that's what we're supposed to do.
And you rest when you're done.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you rest when you're tired, because that's how you avoid burnout.
Yeah. Wow. So with all these tools, we're people use to figure out like what really, basically to become more aligned with themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. And alignment is just a fancy word to say you feel good in your body. You feel good about making the decisions. It's not a second guessing, because you know so deeply in your heart and in your sacral chakra that you're doing the right thing. That's alignment. It's that feeling of like, this is what it is. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to rationalize it. I'm just going for it and having fun.
So our audience is going to be mostly moms and parents, and wondering, when you're working with clients and you're working with moms, have you noticed like a common theme as far as like what their challenges have been?
Yes. Making time for themselves, putting themselves first, because they want to give it all. Yeah. To their children, to their spouse, to the family. And it's almost like you can't, again, the cliche, you cannot give from an empty cup.
It's like, making intentional decisions to like choose yourself. And it could just be for like 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Just like you said, sit in silence with your thoughts and try to like come back to you. This is what in my meditation, what I do is like, I try to recall my energy, like all the days I'm like giving to my daughter and to email and like a text message, like bring it all back to me and just like bringing my energy back. And it usually makes me feel really good. And I literally can do it like 5 minutes actually.
I love that. Yes. I follow that practice. Just drinking a cup of tea, a cup of water. And just like I'm cleansing my aura with this cup of water. I'm drinking it. I'm feeling refreshed and I'm calling back my energy.
I like it. So for a busy mom who is in that kind of like grind of not only taking care of maybe 1, 2, 3 kids and working full time. So bless their heart. Like, how would you say it's like an easy way for them to even start becoming more in touch with their spirituality and with themselves, really?
Through their breath,
Mm.
the connection to the breath. I teach a simple exercise that they can do during lunchtime in their car, where they just tap their fingers and they breathe, because we forget to breathe in this hustle and bustle. And the breath is just like, you are just your breath as well.
It makes me wonder how this hustle culture, hustleness came about. And I really feel like it put a lot of pressure on women, or just everybody, really.
Yeah, on humans, because it made us this more competitive, productive driven, rather than existing and experiencing, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah. I love it. I love everything you said is so profound. There's so much more. We literally could stay here forever talking about just the human design, or just astrology, or even just the moon. Like I want to talk about the moon more too, but I don't have that much time. But where can our mom audience connect with you and work with you?
Yes, so my Instagram is Spectral Wind 102. I have a beautiful newsletter family. I send out one or two emails a week, and I teach about the chakra alignment and how to honor your chakras. When you sign up, you get a beautiful calendar every month. So you have that one exercise that you can do a day to honor one of your chakras, and you can connect through them there. I have a calendar for all my services. I do human design reading, chakra alignment with Reiki, and now I'm doing sacred plant ceremonies with cacao. Yes, as at the time of this recording, I'm gonna have one on Saturday in New York. And yeah, and so it's another way to connect with Mother Earth and with yourself using sacred plant medicine.
Oh, I want to know more about that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. This is so interesting. For all the listeners and viewers out there, please do connect with Adriana. She is amazing. Her energy is wonderful. She's so sweet. Connect with her. She's so knowledgeable in this as well. And if you're curious and you want to learn more, I'm sure Adriana would be so happy to chat and like educate. I've spent time with her. She's just educating me on things too. And I still have questions. So go follow her on Instagram. I'll link everything in the show notes below. And definitely check her out. So Adriana, thank you so much for joining us on the Mamaverse podcast. We loved having you here and loved chatting with you. And everybody, thank you for joining us. And we will catch you on the next episode.